Good afternoon and welcome once again to the Polity. Like I said before the break, we have in the studio here the SDP presidential candidate. He's here to speak on more of his plans and updates as the campaign proceeds, and elections are less than 1 month and some days away. Welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much.
All right,
glad to be here.
It's good to have you. Let's start with the updates. How's it been? I say this as someone who people see as new to politics. Through the course of your campaign and the negotiations, the speaking, the campaigns, the rallies, how has it been for you?
It's been a good experience. It's also an illuminating experience. I'm able to understand there's a triangulation between what I see as a problem that we need to attend to on solutions, and what the other side, what I'm campaigning against, what they are saying, and knowing what the people feel about it. So you can see my perspective, the perspective of my opponents, and the perspective of the people. So because it's inside that the truth lies of why the country is what it is today, what problems we've been able to solve, which ones we've not been able to solve, and stuff like that. So when you look at how we have been organizing our thought processes, I see that if we were not running, many of the issues that are in the buzzing burner now would not have even been raised at all. If we were not in the race, issues that have to do with Chapter 2 of the Constitution, abolition of poverty, eradication of insecurity, dealing with the issue of how to take care of our revenue to see that our national assets are not being stolen, the issue of how to ensure ethical politicking, all those issues will not be on the burner. It will just be, it's my turn, you are this, you are that, and break part. And then who can dance more, who can do show more, whose crowd is larger than who, tangential and peripheral issues like that. So that's what I see, and I see that it takes our people a while to kind of key into, okay, so this is kind of thing you discuss in politics. They assume that those issues that we raise are not supposed to be raised by politicians. They're supposed to be raised by critics and analysts. They assume that the politician's job is just to promise and dance around and go away.
But is there any difference, speaking from the other side, so to speak? I know you haven't been in government, but you are now a politician. And so the way you in the past would have referred to them, these politicians, people now refer to you in that way. Do you perhaps think that, or have you seen something else that makes you think, well, wait a minute, there's something I didn't know before that I'm seeing now that I'm on the other side? No,
first, Nigerians don't, rather they will say, oh, you are not a politician. Even serious people who have been in politics, they'll say, a typical politician, or they will put that adjective. You're not a typical politician. That's the case. People will say, where have you been since? You're different from them. So the difference is clear. And it has to be clear because we are different. On the other hand, yeah, there are a few things I've learned. Some of my earlier suspicions have been confirmed. So the fact that the relationship between the kind of politics we play and the kind of government we end up with, I used to suspect the nexus. I had the hypothesis that if we change the way we mobilize for campaign, we change the people who we put in charge of political parties, we change the way in which we conduct our primaries, we change the way in which we finance politics, that this will have an effect on our people. And it's the case. It's the case. Even my opponents, many of them kind of envy the way in which we do our own. To say, how do you manage to get this thing done? How do you manage to get people engaged in it? And so many things like that. We did our primaries, as you will know, no scandal, no bribery, no money, nothing. And the members were more committed. In fact, our convention will have cost us less than maybe 1% of what PDP spent and what APC spent. But we have 3 times number of delegates. and we have better quality of candidates. So there is no state where we have a strong candidate for governor that our candidate is not superior to their own candidates. We have well-reputed people, former minister who serve with dignity, running for House of Reps in SDP. So they can afford that. Such a person will be running for president in APC. So we have high-quality people. We have one of the best ministers of education in Nigerian history, running for governor of Delta State. We have very many great people. We have people who have served as permanent secretary, who know the issues, running for governor in various states. So we managed to bring in people, and we managed to lower the age of entry. So you find national chairman in his 50s. Our national chairman, who used to be in 70s, we stepped in down and brought a younger person. In many of our state chapters, our state chairman will look exactly like you, in many places. So that's the kind of thing we've managed to do. But despite having been the youngest in the lot, we raise more serious issues. We have better solutions. We display analysis of issues that suggests that we know it better than those who have been there for some time. So that lets me know that there's a lot of room for people who want to come into politics, not to worry about barrier entry. If you believe in yourself and you can be in company of those who believe in you, then you don't have to worry about whether you have money or lots of money. You don't have to worry about whether you've been in government before. Don't assume people are not going to listen to you. Actually, that's the kind of people they're looking for. And we brought women into it. We brought young women into it. And without losing, if you look at our campaign council, it's far better than the one they've got, with all the rancor and all the problems. And we are having a shoestring budget, and we are keeping to it. And we kept away dirty money from our politics. We kept away scandals. Even the other parties who say they are new parties, they are copying the same scandals, expelling one another, doing all sorts of other theatrics.
Well, are there no more factions within the SDP?
No, we inherited an SDP that had factions. But the factions united together and with us. We don't have a problem with that. We don't have two presidential candidates. We don't have two governorship candidates. We only had two election cases in court, and they had to do with senatorial. And yesterday, I saw the winner and the loser at a rally, in Abeokuta 2 days ago. They were with me, and they were all happy.
All right, but there is a rumor or that has been dogging your candidacy, which I believe you've already debunked, but might have been given some oxygen by some other persons, which is that your people have this idea that you will or have conceded to the APC presidential candidates. And we have perhaps a faction who says, or who's considering it, and I know they don't identify with you. So I wonder what's really going on.
There's no such thing as a faction anywhere. There is an individual, and I don't want to give him free advice to continue his business. He speaks to me from time to time as well. And he's an APC person. And I don't have an issue with him, because before I became a candidate, some 6 years ago, he had been expelled from the party. And he ceased to be a member of the party, and he works with the APC candidate, I'm told. So from time to time, when they fear that we are getting traction, and we are going to, because they know what we are doing. Maybe the press doesn't want to know, but they who shoe pinches, they know where we are going. They know where they meet us. They know people they go to try to win to their side, and they will say, no, we're with the SDP. So they needed to do that, and not only to me. When we had Ekiti governorship, they realized that people were following our governorship candidates. So they went in the eve and forged the signature, saying that he had withdrawn and circulated the letter. So it is for the media to learn to have more discipline and to be more responsible, to know that you can't just say things like that. Usually you hold such and confirm. It's one thing for someone to say, I prefer so and so to so. It is right. But if he says, so person has stepped down for somebody, you don't go to press with it. You will call the person. Is it true? You get what I mean? You just don't throw it like that, but they do it like that. We don't worry about it. What is clear is that we don't know them, but we know their works. Their works are not good. And we don't know them, but we hear what they say. And what they are saying is not coherent and makes no sense. We don't know them, but we've seen their track record in government. It's abysmal. Even they themselves can't run on it. They always say they will change whatever. So when they ran in 2015, they said they were going to make a change. And when they came in 2019, they said, well, the change is not working, the change is with you. And then halfway down the line, they said they will go to the next level. But they went 3 levels down. So we don't have anything in common. We don't even reference them, but they keep talking about us everywhere. So we just have to live with that.
All right. I mentioned your talks with different groups and people. So let's quickly take a look now at what some persons from Abuja here are saying. I'm talking about residents and Nigerians saying about their expectations for the next government, and I'd like to get your reaction. So let's take a look.
First and foremost, I think they should focus on security, because security is the bedrock of growth in a country. Once the security is bad, the economy is bad, and once the security is bad, investment cannot come into the country. So I think the security should be the first and foremost. Then secondly, our economy. So I'm expecting that the next government will focus on these 2 main issues in Nigeria. Community policing will make sure that each community set up their own security to address their challenges. They should have one communication. Let's say you come to, for example, the hotspot like Southern Kaduna, you have a communication between communities and communities, so that, let's assume there's an invasion or there's an issue in one of the community, the security agency and other community will have a line that they can communicate to each other that this is what's happening. So when you do this, I think it will make a quick response to end these challenges of security.
Then we have to check on our education level, because every other places in the world is even better than us, including Ghana. Just imagine our children going to school for education in Ghana. So I think they should just look at these 2 places and improve the life of the people in Nigeria. Today, you see, today the prices of things are escalating. You buy something 10 naira today, and tomorrow you buy 20 naira. Imagine driver's license, 12,000 as of December, and now it's 22,500. I don't know where we're heading for. What are they buying? What are they doing? What is the government thinking? So I think my own is they should have price control for every other thing. Your salary remains the same for 10 years, and the things in the market keep escalating every other month, every other week. So except if they want the citizens to die, but if not, they should do something about that. Price control.
I want the government of the day to first of all at least fix the security issue to some extent that people can come out and vote. As it is today, a lot of people may not be able to come out and vote because of threat of lives and property all over the place. The expectations are so high from the people, and none of them are meeting up the expectations. None of the candidates, except 1 or 2. And those ones are the ones that are below, from bottom upwards. But the front burners, nobody want to vote for them because they are being recycled. So the people have learned their lessons.
Right, those were the views of some Nigerians there in Abuja. How do you respond to that, and what people are asking for from the next government, possibly yours, if you should win the elections?
Well, we are saying the same thing, except they didn't end up by saying vote for SDP. Otherwise, they are repeating what we have been saying as the priorities of the country. So it gives us some hope that what we say are the problems of the country, are the things that the ordinary people are saying. And not only those in Abuja, every part of the country I've been to. And take it from me, and confirm it anywhere, I've gone around the country more than all of these people combined. I'm not hopping on a plane from one place to another, going actually around. And I listen and I see that we, in our research, in our evaluation of the situation of the country, we got it right. And the agenda that we take to the people, our priority areas, are actually where the people feel the pain. And the solutions that we provided are superior to any other one. In many areas, there is no competition at all. Because even when we have debates and town hall meetings, they tend to struggle to understand what we are saying. So it's very clear that the people understand us, but these people who have been in power for so long don't even understand what we are saying at all. They just don't know. They've never applied their mind to it. They just know that you conduct election, you manage to win somehow, and you go and sit down in the office and spend the money. But they keep repeating the same thing all the time. So now we've narrowed the discussion. We tackle poverty, you tackle security, you tackle unemployment, you tackle the issue that has to do with people's ability to feed themselves, to house themselves. You deal with the issue of inflation. Like the gentleman was talking about price cap. Price cap doesn't work. What will work is that you control inflation. If you control inflation, because if I buy something for 20,000 in the market, you can't force me to sell it for 15,000 because of the price cap. So what you do is to make sure that you have more goods available. Government is awash with money. They have money everywhere. In fact, Nigeria now has lots of money, new money, old money, liquid money, cash money. There's money everywhere. Foreign exchange, domestic currency, the debt money, and revenue money. So they have all sorts of money. So that is where the problem lies, where there's no productivity around that money. So if for example, rice is 35,000 per bag, they think that because your salary is 50,000 and rice is 35,000, we should increase your salary to 75,000 so you can buy 2 bags of rice. It won't happen that way, because immediately we increase your salary, rice itself will jump to 55,000. So we can actually keep your salary the way it is and just increase the availability of rice by producing more, by making more available. In that case, the price will drop from 35,000 to 12,000. So that can happen. And so we have to travel in the direction of producing things, not in the direction of just wasting money.
Well, how would that happen?
How would that happen is that you
within
have
your
to
first 4 years.
Even the first 2 years enough. First, something will happen when we are elected. Nigeria will have, by themselves, cast the first stone. Because if you say government should do this, government should keep us secure, are you voting for those issues? You can, on the one hand, ask for food, water, housing, electricity, education, employment, affordability of goods, price stability. Those are things you desire. Then you go and vote for religion. You go and vote for ethnicity. You go and vote for sentiment. You go and vote for entertainment. You get my point? So you yourself, that your PVC, you have to invest it where your priorities are. Then you will now have a government that also has those priorities. That way, everything will change. What is happening now is not that they are difficult to do. It is that nobody is doing anything. If someone just reporting to me how one chance people shot her driver, the driver is critically ill. It is not that it is difficult for the Commissioner of Police, FCT, to eradicate, and the DSS, and the other agencies to eradicate one chance. It's just that it happens to you, who say, oh, sorry. The next day, nobody cares. Nobody's regulating vehicles in the town. Nobody is tracking them. Nobody putting transponder on them. Nobody is watching. So every problem that is unattended to would perpetuate itself, would even get worse or deteriorate. So what we are making as a difference is that we're going to have a government who would go to Chapter 2 of the Constitution and look at the fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy and try to keep to the oath of office. So if you are coming to my government, as you're interviewing me for the job now, that's how I also interview other people. Do you understand? Go and ask any of the ministers who have finished serving and those who are there and ask them, how were you interviewed? Somebody just brought their name and they look at it, they check all the boxes. Okay, the person brought his name is from my side. He gave us money during the campaign, and this guy, he likes this guy. Okay, put the name. That's it. Except if somebody who doesn't like your face goes to the DSS to write a negative report. Even that, these days, I understand that they also have a solution to that one. You can nominate an orangutan and you become a minister in Nigeria. No question asked, no nothing. You go to the National Assembly, 2 banner questions, bow and get out. So there is no interrogation of the fact that, okay, I'm going to make you Minister of Police Affairs. What's your view on crime? What's your plan to deal with crime and criminality? What's your attitude about justice, human rights? You go through processes. So everybody will question you, Human Rights Commission will question you, Public Complaint Commission will question you. Everybody will say, oh, this person has been dealing with this for some time. He's an expert in it. He has solution. He knows the problem we have in that area now. Those are the people who are bringing to government, sector by sector. People who have been dying for this kind of thing, who are experts in it, subject matter experts, who are committed to it, who have made it a lifelong ambition for themselves that they must conquer this twin problem of poverty, insecurity, and that we must set for ourselves and for the next government coming after us a well-systematized government that the Treasury Department behaves like Treasury Department. And if you work in Treasury, if you are told that if you are doing your account and 20 naira is not balancing, nobody goes home. That's how Treasury people used to be. So they're very careful. If you travel and you don't retire your allowances, and you don't retire where the receipt is not, they will pursue you. Because there's the attitude of Treasury people. We don't have that. We have all sorts of people, random people, in charge of Treasury, they think just get looted away like that. Then, in terms of education, you don't just take a random supporter who is just a bootlicker for you and put in education. No, education has people who have spent their entire life dealing with it, who are committed to it, who in their ordinary, normal life, if they were not in government, they will invest their own money in education. They are passionate about it. Those are the people you put in education. This is how you do it sector by sector. It's different from this just come and take reward.
All right, sorry to continue. You already mentioned what I was going to ask, and there was sort of an argument or a conversation that was spurred by a clergyman, Pastor Paul Adebayo, where he said that the candidates, the presidential candidates, a criteria for picking you should be that people should get to look at the kind of team you have or people you want to put in different places. And the counter argument or discussion was that, you can't tell because you have to balance politics and competence. So how would you bring that balance? Because if you should become president, there are definitely going to be people who helped you, get there. It wouldn't just be that you worked in silos. There were people who fought for your votes. We've had candidates in your party who've come here and said our presidential candidate is the best. These are all people working for you in one way or another. So how would you be able to balance it? Because people say that if you should say, I am strictly going for the best competence, I'm not looking at political favors, then you might not get a second term.
No. Well, nobody cares about second term if you're really serious minded. But the first thing you worry about is that you fulfill your oath of office. So it is not everybody who attends your wedding that will enter the bedroom with you. They know that. They just wish you well. And they want you to be married. That's not. So I have a senator who bowed with me. He even came to this interview, came with me. He's not looking for a job. So if I run a government and his name is not there, he's not concerned. I'll be the one missing out. It's not like...
Don't you feel betrayed?
No, I don't think so. That's not how we discuss in our group. It's actually you who will be saying, I want you in the government. Even the DG of my campaign says, well, the day you get elected, good luck to you. I can only be assisting you on the back. So our politics is different. But that aside, you also make sure that as you are doing the politics, you also have some basic standard. That people who are with you actually people who mean well. The people who can, if you come to government, you can be associated with them, and they are part of the thought process. So everything I'm saying from my head now, it did not just come from my head. It also came from discussion, people's experiences and all of that. So we're already, in our mind, a shadow government already. We're already behaving like a government. And what that has taught me is that even if you use the best criteria in the world, you will still have representation from everywhere. It's not like in the past, where you could give excuses. Right now, there is no part of Nigeria where you cannot have a comfortably assured supply of good people. Even if you say to me, take all your ministers from one state, we will have a better cabinet than neighboring governments around us. So let's talk of the fact that by constitutional requirement, you must choose a member of the Federal Executive Council, one from each state as a minimum. And if you have to go to any state, even a local government, to find one good person, you will find. And among the people who are on the campaign trail with us, who are assisting, I've seen people who are even far more talented than I am. People who are ready today to be president if you want them, if you ask them to be. Maybe they just don't want to do the politics, they don't want to go through all the, so they are there. So there's no shortage. The problem that people are trying to run away from discussing is the fact that our politics is about money doubling. It's like going to a casino. It's like politics is the most profitable investment in Nigeria. It beats agriculture, oil, gas, anything. You beat lottery because somebody puts 50 million naira into your campaign. You become chairman of NNPC and kills the country. Somebody puts 100 million on your campaign. He controls the central bank. He's now in charge of the dual exchange rate. So somebody puts 1 billion on your campaign. He doesn't have to pay taxes for 8 years anymore. Somebody puts 2 billion on your campaign. Then he can forge any paper with crayon and collect subsidy money. You get the point I'm making. So that is why it's not working. So by the time you are choosing your minister is a revenue officer for a private person. He doesn't see himself as a person working for the public. And that's why in some administration you see that they are fractious. They fight one another, one camp or the other. They are lobbying. If your camp produces a finance minister, then all the businesses going on there is you people doing it. So I will be plotting to see whether the person did NYC or not, and then get the person out, put my own person there, which to now become the top dog. They two will be plotting for us. If your own side brought the NSA, then it means all the surveillance money, security money, you are the one to be collecting the dollar. Then I'm plotting to get him out too. So it goes like that. And then if you put your service chiefs there, they're giving you return, then they will go past the number of years they have to serve. Then so struggle with that. So tension everywhere. It's a feeding frenzy. So we want to change it to a team that works cooperatively. They know they're working for the people, and you can't come to the government and be extremely radical or erratic or roguish, because you know you have to deliver food to every Nigerian. That's a standard. We must, or we will all resign and get out of there. We must give people food. We must give them adequate housing. There's no minister that will come and explain to me why it can't be 100,000 houses in each state. Just tell me you can't do the job so that I can call the next guy. But don't tell me it can't be done. Don't tell me, don't give excuses. We must build 100,000 housing units in every state every year. So if you can't do it, get out. I'll put another person there. So this is how we do it. Then we go into education. If you want to be education minister, you have to be able to find a relationship with ASU. A strike the last 3 days, you're out. You are innocent, you are guilty. We'll discuss that later. But if there's no classroom for 3 days, you're out. So we set this standard. If you are IG or police, if there's a case of banditry, killing, you're out. So he will tell the DIGs, they will tell the AIGs of the zones, they will tell the commissioners. So because he knows, you want to ruin my career by ensuring that there's violence in your area, I too will finish you first before it happens to me. So that way, that discipline is there, that standard is there. Right now, the governor of your central bank is nowhere to be found. You can use the internet to look for him. You can use Google Maps to look for him. You can send drones to look for him. It's nowhere to be found. It shows to you. And there are many absentees and ghost ministers who are in Dubai today. They are even federal council. Read their proceedings. See what they are doing. It's not serious. So why I'm raising all of this is not because I like to throw shade at people. It is to let you know that the problems are not difficult. It's like a room that is dirty. You're supposed to sweep it with a vacuum cleaner. You don't even have a broom. You don't even have a paper. Somebody using one finger to try to remove the dirt and say, it's so sticky. Why would it not be sticky? You're not using the right tools. So that is the issue. So Nigerians need to understand that all the problems we have are problems that can go away in the life of one administration, provided that that administration is not wrongly formed. That is, doesn't come from bad politics, which many of these people are going to come from, because it's politics of you give me money, I reward you. Give me money, I reward you. So many unnecessary expenses. When I started running for president, I have bills piling up to 13 billion. I don't know whether people assume that if I speak, money will come out of my mouth. So I don't realize, and when you analyze it, 99.9% of those activities are not necessary. I don't need to buy a talking dog, shouting SDP, SDP, people vote for me. I don't need blinking lights everywhere. A lot of wastage. So which people will now spend money to help you do all these unnecessary things that don't communicate anything. You give 1 million t-shirts because you are going to one state and they throw it all over the place. How does it change anything? So when you waste all of this money, at the end of your campaign, you run a 30 billion, 40 billion, 50 billion campaign. And these monies come from the various people. And they're all sitting down, congratulations, Mr. President-elect. And you're looking like, okay, I owe this man, I owe this man, I owe this man. How do I run a government? It's impossible. And before I settle down and settle them, the next election has come again. I need the same people again. And I'm finished. I just hang my picture on the wall. I can't solve any problem. So this is what made me to come out to say, we must give Nigerians an alternative type of politics that from the beginning does not obligate your government to be distracted, and that disciplines, that humbles you, and that people who serve in government must be people who are ready to just have their 2 or 3 square meals a day, face that work. You can enjoy the rest of your life after you leave government. It shouldn't be too loud. When people were writing for me, how many cars must be in the convoy of a presidential candidate in order to look serious? So there's campaign advice like that. For you to look serious and presidential, you need to have 21 vehicles in your convoy. And then I did like 14 vehicles. I realized my body can't take it. This is all wastage. Buying gas for nothing with empty vehicles, or one person. I collapsed it to 3 or 4. That's it. If you don't want to make me president, good luck to you. Because this is wastage. So this is the kind of thing you also bring into government, discipline. And I only go to places that are relevant. I don't, all this show off is not necessary. So we do our rally within the midst of the people. We don't borrow money. All these people you see there, I don't know how they came. They just realized that there's rally in Kano and we are parading and they like us and they came. It's not my business. It's not like what APC or PDP is doing, that they're doing human trafficking, trafficking crowd from across to all over the place. We just do our thing and that's it. So if people get the message, they get it. Because you are talking to the voters, not organizing an entertainment show.
All right, just the final question then now. An issue that I think people don't see as immediately urgent, but I believe is getting a bit worrisome. You mentioned earlier that if not for persons like you coming into the campaign, we would have had the same old discussions about, basic things and stuff that yes, and things that tend to split people. You have some persons voting on tribal basis, others going the religious way, others, and so on and so forth. So the question now is, should you become the president, what are you going to do? Because there are predictions, there's a certain poll that even says a certain candidate will win, but it will be marred with violence and division. And we see a lot of people having that kind of thought. So what would you do to bring people, back together to say that whatever may have happened during the campaign periods or however anyone voted, we are still one, and there's no reason for any division?
The first thing to do, if you are going to do that, you have to have credibility. Right now, don't cause division with the way you campaign. So don't say, let me scatter the country. When I win, I will repair it. It doesn't work. It's hard for people to forget wounds. So you must be a healing president now. You should not be like Governor Tinubu, who says, it's my turn, it's our turn. No, you should not be like Vice President Atiku Abubakar, who says, vote for Northerners and it's the Northern interest. You shouldn't be like Peter Obi, who is saying, church, take your country back. Those things don't help. No, they don't help. And those three of them are automatically disqualified if you want to have a united country. So you will not rally around a unifying president whose message of hope, whose message of dealing with the eradication of poverty, whose message of dealing with how to secure our country, how to run a proper government and restore integrity, integral processes into our government system, who is thinking of how to prioritize our constitutional mandates in Chapter 2 of the Constitution, who is at home everywhere in the country, and who is already showing the way. That's the first ticket to having peace. So once we elect that, I believe that if I'm elected president, everybody will cool down, because we are the second choice of everybody. If you are in APC, they think that, okay, the SDP, at least they are harmless and they are visionary. If you go to PDP, they will tell you, well, I don't like the other aspects of SDP. They are clear in their head, they know what they want. If you go to Labour, they will say, I don't join us. So we see those things as compliments. So that way we can give you a government that works. In any case, it's a lot of hard work inside the government. So those who don't make our cabinet, we're going to thank God when they see the life of those who make it, to see that they're back to full-time work, they're actually not enjoying anything, they're working very hard. You will sympathize with them. There will be no jealousy in our government, because you won't see somebody suddenly becoming a billionaire. You won't see a young man who works in the villa suddenly having excess money to send his grandfathers on errands. You won't see any of those things. You will see that whichever corner you sit in Nigeria, the goodies are coming to you more than even those who are inside the government. So you don't feel jealous. You don't feel left out. You know that you didn't vote for us or you voted for us, but you are having access to good roads. Your children who go to school don't have to pay money and they don't go on strike anymore. You are able to feed your family and be at peace. You don't have to say, do a sign of the cross when you wake up in the morning about what to eat. You don't have to pray 10 rakas for dinner to come to your house. So if you are ill, you go to the hospital. Even before you are ill, you're already receiving medical care. And then all the people you are looking after who send you notes, send us money, they are now employed. So what do you have why are you interested in who is in government? And the people in government too are living modestly. I will not earn a salary. One of the reasons that is going to make people to actually not to jump up and down to be my minister is that in the first 4 years, no minister will earn a salary.
Will you enforce that, or is that
that's a condition?
choice?
That's a condition. You will not earn salary. You will not do any business, and you will not be related to any contractor. And your family members will not do business. And your children, they are schooling abroad, they must return. If you are dying of anything, you better go and die now, because you can't go abroad as a public official for medical care. So you better get used to native medicine, or we run our hospital correctly here. I won't do it, you won't do it. So when you put this condition down, people will say, I'm not home. When you ask them to come and be minister, they will say, let me go and think about it. And when they accept it, they will live to it, we will enforce it. So what are you going to be jealous of me for? What are you going to be envious of me for? Nothing. Because I'm working hard, you can see transparently. I'm not making any money, no minister, everybody is open. And we do periodic review of what is going on. We ourselves will take our National Assembly. We're not going to run away. We'll have like 3 sessions National Assembly every year. Where you have any question for us, we go everywhere. The Federal Executive Council will not be holding in one place. It will be like FAC, the way they move FAC up and down. Federation Account Allocation Committee, the way they move, that's how FAC will move. If we want to discuss a project that relates to Lake Chad, we go to Maiduguri and hold a FAC meeting there, the FAC meeting there, so we can see. And we go around to people and ask them questions. So you can't lock me up in the villa and tell me that you've put gold on all the streets in Nigeria and I don't get to know. So this is the system. And public commission can get a minister removed. So not all our commissions are going to work. Human Rights Commission can get the IG of police removed by showing to me clearly that they've investigated the case of human rights abuse, implicating you. You're out. So you will respect the government. The reason why we have a problem is that those in government don't respect the government. So if you're a government vehicle, you are passing through an airport toll gate, you don't bother to pay, you just drive through. If you're a government vehicle, you see a government official standing there, passing traffic, you pass through him. So when they see that people in our government respect government, how are you going to say to them to help you escape responsibility? They will not. Right. So you can lose your job as a minister if you drive without license. If your car is taken on the road and VIO says that your license has expired, you will say you are not responsible enough to be a minister, you go. So when you see that level of discipline, everybody will calm down and will run the proper government. Nigeria will say, oh, so this is what government is all about. And other people in the world will come and say, the radical transformation of governance in Nigeria is a hope that any people can get it. If we continue the way you are going, I don't want to be a minister, I don't want to be anything, because it will be a fiasco guaranteed. So you must run a government that is a proper government. So that when you are an official of my government and you are going around and somebody says, this corrupt person, you can take the person to court and they will pay you billions in character defamation damages. Because you can show that I serve in this government. How can you say I'm corrupt? How dare you? Show me. Where? How is it possible? In the past, you could not malign a minister. Even write innuendo that a minister is a man of low repute. He will say, what does that mean? He will sue you to court. You will pay damages, serious one, because they're supposed to be respectable people, society. Do you get my point?
Yeah.
They will give you a letter of recommendation anywhere in the world. They will obey, they will respect it. If you want to do something in Norway, Australia, anywhere, and they say bring a reference, and the person writes the reference and say, former minister or minister, they will take that this person cannot know any nuisance. He cannot know any unserious person. So that dignity is what you need to bring back in government. Right. Not the shameless show of shame that we are doing now.
All right. Thank you very much, Prince Adebayo, for taking time out of your busy schedule and campaigns to speak with us. We hope to speak with you sometime soon, and perhaps closer to the election or after the election.
You can call us anytime. We'll be here. That's what we are doing now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and God bless Nigeria.
Amen. All right, we'll go on a short break now. When we return, the conversation continues on the polity. Stay with us. We'll be right back.